Good morning, everyone. Just having a little follow-up here. Second video looking at our behaviour expectations. You can see on the screen here. Ignore the red circles, but what we've had a look at so far are rules clear, okay, and what constitutes whether our rules are clear. Rules being displayed, okay, which is a no-brainer, that one. And then we also looked at rules referred to last time. This video, we're going to look at those last three sections here, and the third video is going to look at what impact that has on the right side of our profile sheet when we collect some data around classes that we observe. So consequences displayed, that's pretty straightforward, okay? If we have some sort of document up in the room where our consequences are displayed, then we'll circle yes, and if it's both positive and or negative consequences, then you can see here in the middle we circle appropriately here. If there is no positive or no negative consequences displayed, then obviously we circle no. Question to you guys is that if we don't display these in class, how can we refer to them when needed to? We spoke in that last video about the importance of referring to rules both proactively and proactively, and they're up in our room. They're there. We can refer to them. We don't refer to something that students can't see. It's a physical document that students can see, and we can refer to it with them. Same goes with our consequences displayed. Now, 90% of classrooms, 95% of classrooms have got our positive consequences up, our negative consequences up there, okay, with our possible behaviour and possible consequence / action chart that the school has developed. We don't have a lot of positive consequence documents up in the classroom, so that's something that we are going to continue to work towards there. Second part of the video today looks at consequences for positive behaviour applied. Now that's obviously when students are doing great work and we want to reward them, and that is generally with some tangible positive consequence. It might be stickers, stamps. There's a whole list here that you can have a look at. Team points, might be using the teacher chair, might be free time, no homework, whatever it may be. Okay, so sky's the limit with that sort of stuff. With offering positive consequences, we need to be mindful that we make sure that students are still motivated to achieve that. If we keep offering a stamp each time a student does something well, okay, we don't want that student to go, oh, it's just another stamp, I couldn't be bothered anymore. We really want to keep that bit of variety, I guess, is probably a good idea. So it keeps them motivated to achieve those positive rewards in class. Third part here, and the final part in the box, guys, is consequences for our negative behaviour applied. Now there's three parts here that we can go and mark here. Obviously yes is when there is a consequence for negative behaviour applied, and that's the profiler sitting in a classroom or someone observing going, you know what, that child, and this is backed up by the data on the right hand side of a profile sheet. If we have a significant amount of disruptive behaviour, then at some point we've got to have some sort of consequence within class. It might be something simple like moved seating, it might be take 5 outside, it might be a restorative conversation outside. That's more of an action than a consequence, however. Or, you know, on the right hand side here we could have no, it wasn't applied. Okay, that indicates that it probably should have been, or it should have been, but no, the teacher did not apply a consequence for negative behaviour. This one in the middle is unnecessary. Now this is everyone's dream. If you ever get profiled, this is your goal. Okay, to be able to have the profile circle unnecessarily, I think is a great indication as to the atmosphere in your classroom and what your students are doing. But they're the three categories that we circle across there. Now that sort of covers all 6 of these parts here, and you know, a quick overview of each one without taking up too much time on this video, but a fair understanding should be had by all now about these 6 parts here. The next video that we're going to chuck up and post for you guys to have a look at is the impact that a teacher will have on a classroom if we are hitting these consistently, lesson in, lesson out, what that tends to look like on that right hand side of that profile sheet where we put all the B's and G's and W's, and we start to look at all the student behaviours and then our actions as well. So stay tuned for that one. But again guys, this is something that we see as really foundational, okay, that 5 minutes on the end of your planning you can really chuck into your class tomorrow if you want. It's not a matter of planning for 2 weeks around this sort of stuff. It might take you a couple of weeks to get, you know, develop those routines and habits in your class, but in terms of degree of difficulty of getting this in your classroom tomorrow, okay, or next week at the latest, then it's not a lot of planning for you guys. So jump into it, have a crack, be consistent, and see what happens.